Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. So today we are taking some of the absolute most overused buzzwords in tech, and we're dragging them out of the shadows. I promise you, by the time we wrap up this live high-energy session, you're going to be able to confidently explain the exact differences between artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning to literally anyone. And we're going to do it without a single drop of confusing jargon. Okay, let's just dive right into this. Think about a live Swiggy order you placed recently. The app screen flashes, right? And it tells you your food is going to arrive in exactly 28 minutes. And then, amazingly, exactly 28 minutes later, your doorbell rings. You probably looked at your phone and thought, wow, how did they get that so perfect? Or, think about a few other things we all do every day. How about when Google Maps dynamically looks at live traffic jams and just instantly recalculates a brand new route to save you 5 minutes? Or how your phone unlocks in a split second just by scanning the unique geometry of your face. We all kind of just casually wave our hands at this stuff and go, oh yeah, that's just AI. But is it? Like, are these live technologies actually artificial intelligence? Are some of them machine learning? Or is this all the work of deep learning? Well, to permanently clear up this confusion, here is our game plan for this explainer. We'll start with a really simple school analogy, then define what AI, machine learning, and deep learning actually are before wrapping it all up with an ultimate summary. All right, let's kick things off with section 1, the school analogy. Look, to grasp these massive concepts quickly, we definitely do not need to look at complex code. We just need to picture a normal, local school in your city. Imagine the hierarchy here. At the very top, you've got the principal. The principal represents artificial intelligence. Underneath the principal, you have the teachers, who represent machine learning. And then, studying under the teachers, you have a handful of special, highly expert students. They represent deep learning. And honestly, this brilliantly shows how these technologies actually relate to each other. Think about it. You can't have teachers without a school, and you can't have students without teachers. They sit inside one another. So deep learning is really just a nested part of machine learning. And machine learning, that's just a specific part of the much broader concept of artificial intelligence. Moving right along to section 2, what is AI? So keeping that school hierarchy in our heads, let's look at the top tier, the principal. What's a principal's actual job? It's just to run the school and make sure things operate intelligently, right? By any means necessary. They might set super strict rules, or they might just adapt on the fly. It's the exact same with AI. AI is simply the grand, big picture goal of making machines act smart. If a machine is doing something intelligent, whether it's following a rigid script or genuinely learning, it all falls under the big AI umbrella. But, okay, we have to talk about the huge difference between how things used to be and where we are now. Back in the day, we had old, rule-based AI. Think of an old chess computer that just blindly calculated 100 million possibilities based on super strict rules some programmer typed out. It never actually learned anything new. But modern AI, it shows true intelligent behavior without us feeding it a rule for every single scenario. So where does that real intelligence actually come from? Well, that perfectly leads us into section 3, machine learning. This need for machines to actually learn brings us to the teachers of our school, machine learning. You see, scientists eventually realized that trying to write a specific rule for every possible scenario in the universe was just impossible. So they changed the game. Instead of giving a machine strict rules, what if we just showed it examples? Let the machine figure out the patterns totally on its own. It's exactly like a teacher working through a few math problems on a chalkboard so the class can grasp the concept and then solve the rest by themselves. And the crucial point here, it's scale. If you want a machine to know what a dog looks like, you don't write a rule that says dogs have 4 legs and a tail. No way. Instead, you just show the machine 1,000 photos of dogs and 1,000 photos of cats. By crunching all that data, the machine automatically learns to spot the patterns and the differences without a human ever having to type out a specific rule for it. And this exact method of pattern recognition is powering so much of the stuff we use every single day. When Swiggy gives you that live 28-minute delivery estimate, it's quickly comparing current conditions against thousands of past deliveries. Your incredibly addictive YouTube video suggestions, live bank fraud detection, customized geodata plans, all of that is just machine learning, analyzing mountains of examples to predict exactly what's going to happen next. But what happens when things get way too complex? That brings us to section 4, deep learning. Because teachers do have limits, right? And so does basic machine learning. Sometimes the data is just way too messy for simple pattern recognition. And that pushes us down to the special students of our school, deep learning. Think about how you learned to ride a bicycle. Nobody handed you a manual with strict rules on balance. You just got on the bike, you practiced, you fell down, you tried again, and eventually your brain just built the microscopic connections you needed to stay upright. Deep learning operates exactly like that. It uses artificial neural networks, which are basically layers upon layers of virtual neurons, to learn entirely through raw practice and experience, basically mimicking a human brain. Now, here is where it truly becomes a game changer. With regular machine learning, a human still has to hold the machine's hand a little bit and point out the key features, like saying, hey, look at the ears here, look at the legs. But deep learning, it is totally autonomous. It finds the features completely on its own. You just feed it a massive amount of raw data, and through endless practice across those neural layers, it figures out all the nuances by itself. This powerful, brain-like processing is the heavy hitter behind today's absolute craziest tech. It is what allows Face Unlock to instantly scan your face in real time out of millions of possibilities. It powers those unbelievably natural, flowing answers you get from ChatGPT, the intense 10-minute delivery routing on platforms like Zepto, and even complex audio analysis, like judging a singer's voice quality. All right, let's tie this whole thing together in Section 5, the ultimate summary. Consider this your ultimate cheat sheet. When we map our school analogy over to the tech world, it just clicks. AI is the principle. It's the big, overarching goal of making machines smart. ML is the teacher, the method of learning patterns from data via examples. And DL is the special student, mastering a task through raw practice on artificial neural networks. Just remember, every single piece of deep learning is machine learning, but not all machine learning is deep learning. And hey, since you're hanging out with us in this explainer, let me leave you with a quick bonus fact. ChatGPT is not just basic machine learning. It's actually built on a highly specific, incredibly advanced deep learning architecture called a transformer. This was a massive breakthrough created by Google back in 2017, and it completely revolutionized how machines understand human language. We constantly talk about AI like it's this brand new, live, cutting-edge thing. But I want to leave you with this one provocative thought. This whole dream of thinking machines, it didn't start in Silicon Valley 10 years ago. It actually started over 70 years ago with a brilliant scientist named Alan Turing, who proposed ideas that literally got him laughed at. So how on earth did a totally mocked concept from the 1950s evolve into the neural networks running our entire lives today? Well, you'll have to stick around because that is a fascinating mystery we are going to unpack in our very next explainer. Keep learning, stay curious, and we'll see you next time.